Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some more footage taken from the Set 4.5 Set Revival. And in this game we're going to be looking at a Duelist team composition. This is another one of the traits that's a little bit overtuned. Actually, it's pretty overtuned in comparison to some of the other traits. It's just not as crazily overtuned as some of the other ones, like Spirit in particular, which is just absurdly overvalued in terms of the stats right now. But this one's very playable, it's pretty strong, and it's a team composition that I did play a decent amount back in the actual Set 4 when it was around originally. I've definitely gotten a lot more experience with TFT under my belt in the, I think, 5 years since this set was out originally. So I'm going to have an opportunity to build a Duelist board, talk a little bit about how you put this together. There are some unintuitive things about how a Duelist board comes together that you wouldn't necessarily think make a lot of sense. All right, so we have a Swain encounter. I was going to say portal, and then I said, but it's actually an encounter is the official term. This means that the first augment's prismatic. This is, of course, exactly the same as one of the ones that we have on the live client for set 13. I think it's the Heimerdinger one, but don't quote me on that. There's another one that gives you a first augment prismatic on that as well. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to play coming into this game. I thought maybe I'd try Duelist, but as soon as I see the Yasuo, I immediately snap it up. If you're going to play a Duelist team composition, you need to play through Yasuo. He is the key unit that you want to play. One of the interesting things about him is he will always have Duelist as his chosen trait that gets doubled, and that's because his other trait is Exile, and that trait cannot be doubled by the chosen. So he will always have Duelist trait doubled. He is by far the most important Duelist unit to build around, because the other early unit, or Duelist unit, is Fiora. She's not very good. She's not a unit you can carry through. And the other early Duelist unit is Jax, who is a tank. So you really need to play through the Yasuo. Okay. First augment we knew would be prismatic. Tiniest Titan, I guess, is a possibility, but I didn't really want to go that route. I was hoping not to Lost Streak. Ghosts of Friends Past is not necessarily terrible in either, but that's been nerfed a lot. So I'm going to take Radiant Relics, which is something I almost never take, which gives you the option of a Radiant item at the start of the game. I did think this would fit here, though, because it's so important to get good items on Yasuo. And I'm actually going to take the only one that makes any sense for Yasuo, which is the Radiant Edge of Night. And this is an item that I almost never see because, of course, it's an Edge of Night. You don't typically get the Radiant version of any item all that often. But it's a good item on melee carries, which is what Yasuo is. And it gives him not only an aggression drop when he takes damage, but it also will restore his health all the way back up to full. And of course, give him a ton of stats by virtue of being a Radiant item. Unfortunately, my other items are not what I'm looking for here in terms of a Duelist team composition. I had a belt, a rod, and a cloak. None of which I really want that much. I mean, I have like half of some items I would want. For instance, if I could get a sword, I could combine it with the cloak to make a Bloodthirster. That would be good. If I got a glove, I could combine it with the cloak to make a Quicksilver Sash, which is very important when playing Duelists. The rod, though, I really can't do a whole lot with. There's not much that builds out of rod. So I opted to reforge the rod. But what do I get? I get another cloak as well. So I was like, ugh, that is that is not what I am looking for here. Not what I am looking for here at all. So I'm just going to sit on these items, which is not what I want to do, but it's kind of what I am left with. The one nice thing is I do have 5 Yasuos. I found 2 more of them. And one of the keys to playing a Duelist team composition is you do want to 3-star Yasuo. It's very important to hit 3-star of this unit. You actually do want to play the more expensive Duelist, and there are some Duelists at the higher cost tiers. If you're curious about what all the Duelist units are, just to cover them, there's 2 1 costs, Yasuo and Fiora, and then there's a 2 cost, a 3 cost, a 4 cost, and a 5 cost. And there's some other expensive units that you want to play as well. For instance, if you're playing Yasuo, you want to play Yone as well, but Yone is a 5 cost. I believe Yone was very new to League of Legends when Set 4 came out, so they made him a 5 cost unit. And you'd also really like to play Shen and Aurelia as well, if you can get them on the board. Now that round does not go particularly well, so I'm just going to go ahead and sell to get up to 10 gold. I had a, a Diana on the board because I could have played her for, I was going to try to play her for Spirit Trait, but I don't really need Spirit Trait. And I'm going to sell so I can get up to 10 gold because that's actually more valuable than trying to play that Diana. Instead, I'm going to end up getting double Yumis here. So I was like, okay, I'll guess I'll go ahead and play the Yumi. So I end up getting Spirit Trait in play anyway because I end up getting this Yumi. So the Yumi plus the Teemo makes Spirit. And you're going to see me like flexing into Spirit periodically throughout the game because the trait is just so broken right now here in this version of the set Revival. It's just like way too good. Spirit 2 is each time that a spirit unit casts for the first time, the entire team gains 18% attack speed. So if both Teemo and Yumi cast, then the whole team will get 36% attack speed, which is pretty nice. Now, it's not as good here with only 4 units on the board, but it's still something that's valuable. By the way, look at this enemy Teemo. Gets a blind on Yasuo, and look at how many attacks he misses. And then another blind miss. I was like, are you kidding me? How many attacks did I miss? Yeah, even as a 1-star, Teemo's blind is like ridiculously lengthy. How long is the Teemo blind? They really need to nerf this champion. Teemo's ridiculously overtuned. Okay, it's 2.5 seconds as a 1-star unit. As a 3-star unit, his blind lasts for 4.5 seconds. Yeah, 4.5 second blind. That is like what were they thinking when they did this? So yeah, I'm gonna have to play this so I can get a Teemo video. I really want to get one while he's like completely busted, just so I can showcase this. Well, anyway, losing those rounds makes me first pick on the carousel. I was like, oh, spatula. Well, I will take the spatula. I'm sure I can do something with this. And I was hoping that I could make a Duelist emblem with it because I know that Duelist emblem was craftable back in the original set. So I was like, okay, cool. So I think it's just bow plus spatula, and then I can make a Duelist emblem, and then maybe I can play 8 Duelists, which would be really cool. This also makes Yumi 2-star, which is pretty nice. I'll just play the Yumi. She's actually not a key unit on a Duelist board, but I'll just go ahead and play her because why the heck not? I went ahead and hit Yumi 2-star. So I was like, all right, so what's the Duelist emblem? I was like, where's my Duelist emblem? So yeah, it turns out that it's actually not makeable with the spatula, and that actually threw me for a loop. One of the things that's annoying about now having both spatulas and frying pans is you have to remember so many recipes because there's 8 emblems that are craftable with a spatula and 8 more that are craftable with a frying pan. So at this point in time, I was like trying to like tab out of the game so I could look up that item chart again so I could see like what the heck does anything make into a Duelist emblem. And in fact, the answer is yes, it does. The frying pan plus bow makes into a Duelist emblem. So if I can reforge this into a frying pan and then get a bow, then I could turn it into a Duelist emblem. And that would make it easy to play 8 Duelists. Well, not easy, because I'd still have to find all the Duelists. There's only 6 Duelist units, so in order to play Duelist 8, you have to find all 6 of them and have a Duelist chosen, which I do have, because I have the Yasuo, and then also find an emblem. So it's emblem plus chosen plus all 6 of the Duelists. So it's a little bit tricky to get up to the 8 Duelists. Now, these last couple rounds, not going particularly well, and one downside to grabbing that spatula is, even though it might make me really strong in the future, it definitely did not do a lot to make me stronger right now. I had been targeting getting a sword for Bloodthirster, which would be really nice for Yasuo because he needs to have some healing. He currently does not have any healing aside from his Radiant Edge of Night heals him when he gets low on health. Or alternately, I was going to go for a glove so I can make Quicksilver Sash, because that would also be really nice to do. But I went for the spatula. So the spatula doesn't do anything to make me stronger right now. It's more about getting that future potential. The other thing is this has been a really bad stage 2 in terms of finding champions. Now, I did find 3. I did get the 2 Yumis and took the Yumi off carousel. So I have this 2-star Yumi, but she doesn't really fit my board, to be honest. She's just kind of there because I haven't been able to find anything else that's better. Remember, I had 5 Yasuos at the start of stage 2, but I found 0 since then. I have not found any Fioras. I haven't found a single Jax, which is really bad because Jax would let me play 4 Duelist. And Jax is also the main tank for this team composition, so not having him is hurting me a lot. And I also haven't found a Callista, who's the 3-cost Duelist. Now, I wouldn't expect to see a lot of Callistas, but not having even one Jax at this point is a little bit frustrating. I'm also continuing to get wrecked by Teemo Blind. The poison, or maybe that was my own Teemo that was blinding the enemy team. But I really do want a Quicksilver Sash on Yasuo because he just gets wrecked by crowd control. As a melee carry, he's subject to be getting hit with all kinds of bad stuff in terms of enemy crowd control. So yeah, won the first round, lost the next 4. Not what I was looking for here at all, and still stuck on 5 Yasuos. So Not the greatest start to this game. I think I'm going to pick up the Janna because, okay, that's probably the best unit I can pick up next. It actually does make Enlightened and Mystic traits. Now, while we've got a second here on the minion round, let's cover the Duelist trait itself. My past self was kind of highlighting this a couple different times, but just as a reminder, this is a very simple trait. It grants attack speed. There is an innate ability that Duelists move faster than normal units, but the main thing is Duelists gain stacking attack speed, and this trait's been in a couple different sets. So this can stack up to 8 times, and at Duelist 2, it's 12% per stack. That's what I have in right now. So at 8, if it stacks the full 8 times, it's 8 times 12, which is, 90, it's right around, I think it's 96% attack speed, something like that. Yeah, I think it's 96% attack speed. So that's what happens if I get the full stacks. Of course, that involves attacking 8 times. And now look what I got there. I got another spatula to drop. So I was like, okay, now what do I do with this? I did not get a bow, so I was like, all right, once again, I have a rod and a tier, and like these items, okay, I've got 2 spatulas, so like that's really good, but everything else here is atrocious. I can't do anything with these. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to reforge this. I could have tried to reforge one of them into a frying pan, and then I could have taken the frying pan and combined with a bow to make a duelist emblem, but like I don't have any bows here. And that would require me to wait even longer and then like take a bow off a carousel, which I don't want to do. And so I just make the Tactician's Crown. And I really do think that's the best thing I could have done here, given the items that I have. I don't have any bows. I don't have any swords. I don't have any gloves. Like, these are the items I want. Well, not the bows as much. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the items I really want are swords and gloves, because most of the stuff I want to builds out of them, but I have not gotten a single sword or a single glove so far. No, nothing but tank items and AP items, nothing but the combination of them. So I'm really struggling to make anything. My items are so bad. I was really hoping for like Pandora's items because I'm getting trolled hardcore, and I still have not gotten another Yasuo here. Plus, I'm not even rich, even though I'm losing all these rounds. It ain't going great, guys. Okay, out of these options here, this is a silver augment. I'm looking at the different options. I'm not too pleased by any of these, but I do see this. Find your center. Your champion that starts combat in the center of the front row gains 15% damage amp and 15% max health. And then I finally find a Jack, so it's like, all right, we're gonna get up to the 4 duelist. I'd like to play Aurelia. I think she's better than something here, right? I think I will play her. She does put divine trait in. We're gonna put Yasuo up on that front tile. So I did lose mystic trait here, but duelist trait, like, mystic's not bad. It's always useful to have team-wide magic resistance, but I think it's better just to play Aurelia. She's a unit I want to play anyway. She makes a lot of useful traits overall. All right, so what do I do now? Well, I'm going to go ahead and stuff at least some defensive items on some of these units. Oh, you might be wondering, why is nobody standing next to Yasuo? Well, his exile trait actually gives him a shield at the start of combat, but only if no one is standing next to him. So he always has to be off by himself. You also might think, well, you know, Yasuo, he's a melee carry. Like, putting him dead center of the board is probably not the safest place for him to be, right? It doesn't actually matter that much because Yasuo's ability causes him to dash all over the place anyway. I'll read his ability description here in a second as you see me getting wasted by a cultist team for my 6th loss in a row. I'm like, oh my god, this is not going well. But like, I felt as though the situation, I felt as though there was the potential to play a good comp here, but just my items were so bad, and I just cannot find duelists. Like, I have, what is it, since the start of stage 2, I found 0 Yasuos and 1 Jax, and that's it. Like, Jesus Christ, this is just not the way I want this to go. So can I get anything on this next combat round? All right, at least I can hit 2-star Fiora. Not that that's going to do much. And I can finally start rolling here. And then there's a Callista, so I'm definitely going to play her. So I can play her. That only takes me to 5 duelists. And I do lose Spirit trait. But, you know, the duelist gets so much attack speed anyway. I don't really need Spirit trait in this game. Still, it might have been better to play that, keep that Janna around. Because why not? And at least I did get up to the 6 Yasuo. So I'm slowly getting stronger, slowly getting there. Now, Yasuo's ability, which I kind of teased a couple times, but I'll read the description now because there's not much going on here. Ability is called Striking Steel. Strike forward 2 hexes, deal physical damage to enemies hit. If 2 enemies wouldn't be hit by this, attempt to dash to a better position. So he has low mana cost, 45. He spends a lot of time dashing around, so you don't really have to worry too much about putting him in the middle of the front row. He's going to dash somewhere. And he's going to be repositioning constantly throughout the fight. So just because he starts there doesn't mean he's going to end up there. And hey, we actually won a fight. Imagine what it's nice getting up to the 4 duelists will do. And actually having some 2-star units that are not Yasuo and the Yuumi. All right, I will be first pick here. So there is actually the potential to get another spatula if there would be one here off this carousel. But I also really, really want to start making items out of this. So I was thinking, okay, if there's a sword, I could make that for Bloodthirster because Yasuo desperately needs healing. Or if there's a glove, I could make Quicksilver Sash. But I was looking at the different options here. I was like, all right, you know, between the two of these, I'm going to take the sword because I actually want multiple swords. Of course, I actually want multiple gloves as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the sword. And I think that's partly because I thought I could play Janna on my board. Once again, if I put Janna back on the board, I will get Mystic Trait in. So she's probably my next unit in if I can't find another duelist. The next duelist unit would be Tryndamere, who's a 4 cost. So I haven't found him yet. And I actually really need to find him because he gets me up to 6 duelists, which is a big jump from 20% per stack to 35% per stack. So, all right, never mind. I guess I did end up selling that unit. I actually thought I held that unit, but I guess I was wrong. All right, and then we'll put the Rod on Callista because more AP is good on her. All right, there's a Yasuo. Almost there, 7. Again, we're trying to be patient. 8. Now they're finally showing up here. Finally showing up here. And once I have the Yasuo 3-star, I will get much, much, much stronger. Still, it could be worse. Look, I've only found... I have been finding no Fioras at all, so this could have been even worse. Still, it's not too hard to 3-star the Yasuo if you get the Chosen early on in the game, because you only need to find 6 copies. That really shouldn't be too difficult to do. And I wouldn't recommend playing a duelist board unless you have a Yasuo Chosen. I mean, I guess you can, but like it's kind of an awkward trait to pivot into later on in the game. So now Yasuo has lifesteal, so like he can actually sustain himself in these fights. So he should be getting a lot stronger. When he has the full duelist stacks, what is it? He gets 20% times 8, so that's 160% attack speed. So yeah, he has plenty of attack speed. That's not the issue. So it's down to just him and this Jarvan and this Warlord Janna back there. So yeah, Yasuo does 8,000 damage and kills everything. Very, very nice. All right, so I will pick up extra Fioras just because why not? I'm not going to pick up extra Yuumis. I don't expect her to stay on the board long term. But, I mean, I guess I could have, but it's also kind of expensive to pick up extra Yuumis, and she's not really doing that much. Do I pick up this Janna? I guess I pick up this one. And, again, I'll stop here. So, I haven't had especially good luck at hitting the Yasuos, honestly. A little disappointed that I'm not finding them faster than this, but I guess it could be worse. As I said, I've been seeing even fewer Fioras. And I still have Jax 1-star, which is pretty ridiculous, and I only have 1 Callista. Considering how much I've rolled, you really would expect to have maybe a little bit better luck than this, but is what it is. Instead, we've got this Elderwood board back here, which apparently has forgotten to bring any damage. They have a Lulu with a Shojin, but like there's no damage on this board at all. So I'm not really sure how this board kills anything. And it looks like you can see how this board's falling apart very, very quickly because they have no damage on this board. Pretty tanky, but, you know, if you can't kill anything, you're not going to win the fights. And it looks like sooner or later, I'll be able to wrap this one up. And yeah, I mean, like Lulu's ultimate knocks people up and gives them health, but like she doesn't do any damage. All right. Anyway, so I'm hoping still for better items. I actually really want multiple gloves. I'd love to make Quicksilver Sash for Yasuo so he can't get crowd control at the start of fights. And that tier is just begging for a glove so I can make a Hand of Justice, which is another really good item on Duelists. It's one of the best items on a whole bunch of Duelists. It's like, all right, now the Jannas are coming in. There's an Aurelia. Like, can we finally hit one more Yasuo? I really want to start leveling. See, with a Duelist comp, you want to hit 3-star Yasuo, but then you want to level up to like level 8 and level 9 as fast as you can because there's so many 4 and 5 quest units you want to play. You want to play Shen. You want to play Yone. You want to play Tryndamere. You want to play Lee Sin. Like, there's all these units you want to play. So you do need to hit the 3-star Yasuo, but then after that, you need to level. And then I get the sword here, which is unfortunate. Now if I had taken the glove, and then I actually get double sword tier. If I had taken the glove, I would have had that Quicksilver Sash. But no, I took the I guessed incorrectly. But the good news is I actually don't mind having multiple swords because there are some other items I'd like to make out of swords. I could always do another I could do another Bloodthirster, but I was actually hoping to hold that because I wanted to hold that cloak for a Quicksilver Sash. You can see how much I value that because I really, really, really want that Quicksilver Sash, even though I have not been able to get a glove thus far in the game. Now, you also see that there's a bow there, and you might think that bows are good in a Duelist team composition, but the truth is Bows are not good items in a duelist team composition. Yeah, there's actually not a lot you can do with bows in a duelist team composition, which sounds really counterintuitive. You're like, why wouldn't duelists? They're all about attacking fast. Why don't they want bows? They get so much attack speed innately from their traits that bows don't really do a whole lot. The one item that's good on them is the Titan's Resolve is a good item on them. As you see Yasuo killing everything now that he's a 3-star unit. So, like, Titan's Resolve is good, but, like, you don't want a Rage Blade. It's just a waste. They already get tons of attack speed anyway. So, like, I could have slammed a Rage Blade there on Callista, which is not terrible on her, but, like, she gets so much attack speed from Duelist traits. She doesn't need that. And, like, look, Clockwork Accelerator, what a waste. I don't need that. The Heroic Grabbing might have been useful earlier, but it's not useful now. So I'm looking at the options. I was like, oh, Duo Q. There's so many 5 costs I can play. Why don't I just take Duo Q here? Like, if I can hit a Yone here, or if I can hit a Lee Sin, this will be absolutely amazing for me. So what do I get? Oh, Swain and Samira. These are like 2 of the 5 costs that I absolutely cannot play. And look at the items I got. I get double cloak, or double vest. I was like, can I get trolled more by the game here? Like, is this game just like a freaking joke? I'm really confused as far as what this setup is because, again, almost anything else would have been more useful on this board. Again, almost all the 5 costs would have been useful for me. So Lee Sin is the 5 cost duelist. Amazing. I wish I'd gotten him. Yone, he pairs with Yasuo and puts Exile 2 in play. Would have been absolutely amazing. Either of them would have been incredible. Zillion would have been incredible. I could have replaced one of my Mystics with Zillion. That would have been absolutely amazing. Ornn does not fit this board, but I could stuff him on the board and he could start creating artifact items. That would have been pretty nice. Even if I had gotten, like, Set, I could have maybe played Set. I wouldn't have wanted him. Or, like, the only ones that genuinely were not useful were Azir and Swain and Samira. And I hit 2 out of those 3. So I was like, oh, geez. So my final augment of the game has also basically been a dud. It's just not really given me anything that I can use. So anyway, you probably saw I did go ahead and make the Titan's Resolve, even though it wasn't enough to win that last round. And now I'm going to shove the Samira on the board. And the plan now is we need to get to level 8, because at level 8 I can actually start finding some of these units. I mean, I might be able to find Tryndamere here on level 7, but if I roll for Tryndamere on 7 and I don't hit, I'm never getting to level 8. Well, I might be able to get to level 8, but I would never get to level 9. And in order to win this lobby, I have to hit some of the 5-cost units. This board's kind of interesting. This board has all these Spirit units on it. I believe this person actually has Spirit 6 on their board. And you saw Yasuo was doing really well, except he keeps getting blinded by Teemo. I know I keep harping on the Quicksilver Sash, but like the Teemo blind is the main reason why I lose this fight, because Yasuo was not able to attack for, like, I don't know, 5 seconds of the 20 seconds that this fight took place. So I was like, I have to get this Quicksilver Sash. I have to get him a Quicksilver Sash. I just could not get gloves. How many items have I gotten in this game and not gotten even one glove? I've been sitting on a cloak from literally the first round of the game, and I cannot get a freaking glove. All right, well, I'm first pick here, and look, there's an Ornn here, so I was like, okay, well, now I'm finally going to get my stupid glove. By the way, I would have once again, I'm first pick, no Yone on this carousel, no Lee Sin on this carousel, so, like, I am still getting trolled by this game so relentlessly. The 5 quests I need just absolutely will not appear. So, all right, now I can finally make my Quicksilver Sash, and now Yasuo will not be crowd controlled at the start of fights. I mean, it does time out eventually, but I think it lasts for about 20 seconds, and this basically guarantees that he'll last long enough to get his duelist trait stacked up. I also was hurting enough on gold that I decided I would sell the Ornn. I actually think I should have kept the Ornn on my board and had him make an artifact item. I could have just played him over that stupid Samira who's not doing anything. Just play him for 4 rounds and then drop him afterwards. Like, I definitely could have done that. I think there was space enough on the board to play him long enough to craft 1 Ornn item for me. But in any case, I did get the Quicksilver Sash. The Samira is just kind of hanging out here, making me feel sad because I have this augment that didn't actually do anything for me. And now I'm going to reforge yet again. Can I get something useful? And then I get a rod. I was like, another rod. All right, well, I will put this on Callista. Now, if you're curious about what Callista's ability does, let me just highlight her. She has kind of an interesting ability. She actually has no mana in this. Yeah, she doesn't use mana at all. Her ability is Ren. Spears remain in the target. Each deals a percentage of the target's max health when removed. Spears are removed when doing so would kill the target. So she basically tosses spears at a target until she can pull them out and kill the target. And so AP stuff is good on her because it increases the amount of damage that each spear does. Each spear is magic damage, and she pulls them out when it's enough to kill the target. So any AP items you get in a team composition like this, you can put on the Callista. Of course, I've only seen one Callista the entire game, so hooray. Hooray for that. Again, I continue to not hit Duelists in kind of a crazy way, but at least I guess I did hit 2-star Jacks a couple rounds ago, so we've at least got the 1-cost and the 2-cost Duelists. Still seeing no Tryndamirs, and you saw I did that pull on the 5-cost units. Didn't hit anything useful, and then the stage 4 carousel first pick, again, nothing useful, but hey, at least I got my Quicksilver Sash. It really does make a big difference on Yasuo. So we're continuing to econ here. I wouldn't say my stage 4 is going amazing, but I haven't lost too much health here. I have probably like 2 more lives left. In other words, I can probably lose 2 more rounds, and then I go out on a 3rd loss, probably. By the way, Samira actually did get her ult off there, so she did do a little bit of something. Still, even without Duelist 6 in, like, I'm still stuck on this Duelist 5. I've been here forever because I can't get the Tryndamere. Yasuo is still carrying really, really, really hard, and it does help that I just have some synergy units and some utility units that are just basically pumping him up in these fights. Like, I have the 2-star Janna and the 2-star Yuumi are in fact helping a fair bit in these fights. And I decide, you know what, Samira is useless. I'm going to just dump her. I'll just put this Kindred on the board. So once again, I put Spirit back in for like the 3rd time on this playthrough. I had like some notion that if I could somehow find a Duelist emblem, maybe I could turn Samira into a Duelist, because like that would be pretty awesome if I could turn into a Duelist. But I think I just decided eventually, like, this is not going to happen. I'm probably not going to get another Duelist emblem and get rid of her. Also, look what I get here. Another vest, another tier, another belt. I'm like, are you kidding me? Can I get anything that's useful in terms of items? I will put the Kale on the board. She actually puts Executioner trait in play, but like the unit I actually need to find right now is Tryndamere. So we need to find Tryndamere. Come on, he's a 4-cost. There he is. All right, so we need to put him on the board. And the logical unit to come out, I took out the Janna. That's actually the wrong unit there. I should have taken out the, I guess I wanted to keep the Kindred on the board for Spirit trait. I don't know. Spirit's so busted. I guess that did make sense. So now we want to make some Tryndamere items here. So I'm going to go ahead and I have to kill one of these chain vests. I have no use for these chain vests. So we'll do Edge of Night, and then I'll go ahead and kill the, kill the belt by making Asterix. And then now I have 2 tiers. I actually do want 2 tiers because 2 tiers can make a blue buff, and that's the best item to put on Lee Sin if I can ever actually find Lee Sin. So I will actually make a blue buff with the hopes of putting it on Lee Sin later. By the way, I thought I was going to lose this fight, but Yasuo's got that Bloodthirster shield, and he's got the Edge of Night, which gives him the aggression drop, and he goes low, but he heals right back up to full, and we end up winning that fight as well. All right, and then now I found Shen. I definitely want to play Shen. He's an important unit to play on this board, so we have to drop something, and I think I end up dropping the Kale here, which is really just on the board as a temporary unit. So, and then, oh no, I misclicked. I meant to sell the Kale. I sold the Tryndamere. I was like, oh no, and I need Tryndamere because he gives me 6 duelists. I was actually hoping to go level 9, and now I have to roll for another Tryndamere, or else I'm just utterly screwed. But I do finally get one big bit of luck. I find a Yone, and that's going to be huge, so I will look to play that Yone, but I do have to keep rolling until I can get that Tryndamere back again. Ugh. It's such a bad misclick, but I did find the Yone, so that kind of makes up for it. I found the Yone at 3% odds. But oof, that was a little rough. Still, as I said, I probably was looking to go, I was going to go to level 9. I actually have 1 billion traits in right now. It's a shame I don't have Bronze for Life in, although I don't even know if that's in this set. Look at all those traits I have. That's pretty wild. I'm actually going to be dropping traits, though, as I pull more into Vertical Duelist here, as I go back up to the 6th Duelist. I will lose some of these traits, and frankly, some of them are not really doing a whole lot. Like Executioner trait's not really doing anything. Enlightened trait's not really doing anything. But yeah, we have to keep rolling here. We've got to get that Tryndamere. Please come back to me, Tryndamere. I didn't mean to sell you. Oh, I've had to burn so much economy because of that misclick. This is so sad. But there, finally he comes in. So I can drop the Kale. We'll go ahead and put these items back on him. And then the Yone, I need to put the Yone on the board, so something has to come out. And I was trying to figure out what that could be, and I was like, it's got to be the Kindred. So I lose Spirit trait for this, but I pick up Exile 2, which is a huge, huge benefit, because this is a trait that increases the performance of the Yasuo. Okay, and the Yasuo and Yone. So, okay, what does this trait do? If you're curious, Exile 2, very unique trait. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. I did not have it right in front of me. Okay, here it is. So Exile 1 is, if an Exile has no adjacent allies at the start of combat, they gain a shield equal to 50% of their max health. We've had that from the start of the game on Yasuo. Exile 2 is, the units also gain 80% Omnivamp. Yeah, 80% Omnivamp in addition to that shield. And there's only 2 units, Yasuo the 1 cost, Yone the 2 cost, and that's it. They're the only ones that have this. So it is a massive spike for Yasuo just to shove Yone on the board. Now, there were actually some interesting options here as far as what to take off this carousel. Again, no Yasuo, no Yones, no Lees here. I might have taken them if they had been there. I opt for the Thief Glove. There was actually the option to take a Divine Emblem, which was there, because if I could take the Divine Emblem and put it on somebody and then find a Lee Sin at level 9, then I could potentially have Divine 4 in, but I didn't think that that was that good. All right, I ended up rolling until I hit Tryndamere 2-star. Did cost me a lot of econ, but I thought it was important enough to hit that. You also might have noticed I made a Crown Guard there at the end of the last round, and that was just because that's what I had the item components for. So I just popped that item off of the Callista, and now I will put it on Jax, who's an actual tank. It can actually use the stats on that. So this is pretty much the core of the board right now. 6 Duelist, 2 Exile, 3 Adept, 2 Mystic, 2 Divine, 2 Enlightened, 1 Ninja. If there's one unit that doesn't really fit on this board, it's probably the Yuumi, but like I've played Yuumi for so long at this point, I just want to keep her on the board anyway. I don't really see any unit that I could play over her that would be better. I guess I could take Spirit trait, but I actually kind of like Yuumi. She's been doing good work for me, and she actually uses blue buff pretty well because her mana cost is only 40, so she's been dashing around healing people. The other trait I do want to mention is Adept, and this is a late game trait that you can kind of play in almost any game because it's just a really, really valuable trait. It is a global attack speed slow for the enemy team. Yeah, it's just a really, really good trait. It's probably too good of a trait. You get it from Irelia, Shen, and Yone, and all of those units are playable on a very wide flow, a very wide variety of boards. It officially says, Adepts calm the flow of battle, reduce the attack speed of all enemies by 50% at the start of combat. Adept 2 is 2 seconds. Adept 3 is 3.5 seconds. If you can get an Adept chosen, it goes up to 6 seconds, which is ridiculous. But slowing the attack speed of the entire enemy team by 50% for 3.5 seconds is a very big deal because it allows my Duelist time to ramp up. Duelist 6 is 35% attack speed. By the way, I love the giant Cultist 9 Galio dashing in, and the my Yone or my Yasuo just not getting knocked up in the air at all because he has a Quicksilver Sash. So can Yasuo kill everything? Oh, he got his Edge of Night aggression drop, and Yasuo. Yes, that is a 1-cost unit. That is a 1-cost unit, but he has an awful lot of buffs stacked on top of him. He has a Radiant item. He's standing in that circle, which gives him additional damage amp. He's got Duelist 6. He's got Exile 2. He has a tremendous number of things powering him up in these fights. Still ridiculous that a 1-cost unit carries this hard, but anyway. All right, as I was saying, though, the Duelist 6, it's 35% attack speed, right? It's, yeah, 35% attack speed per stack. So, 2 attacks, they get to 70%. I mean, it maxes out, I think, at 280% attack speed, and this is one reason why Duelist 8 is not really necessary. Duelist 8 goes up to 60% per stack. Oh, also, by the way, there's nothing I particularly want here. I was like, I don't really have anything that I want here. I think I just take a Sunfire Cape because I don't have a heal cut on my board and I wanted to get something on there. But anyway, like I said, Duelist 6, it's 35% attack speed per stack. Duelist 8 is 60% per stack, but you don't really need that much attack speed. There is a cap on how fast units can attack in this game. The 35% per stack, you hit the cap pretty quickly with that. As I said, it's 280% attack speed if you get it all the way stacked up, and you don't really need more than that. So Duelist 8, I mean, if you get a ton of emblems, you can of course play it, but it's kind of a waste. You just look how fast everybody attacks. You just don't really need that. Better to play 6 Duelist and cut the bad Duelist units and play other good 4 and 5 costs than go up to the 8 Duelist. I actually had a video way back when this set was out originally, where I went up to 8 Duelists, but like I just stacked way too much attack speed on all my units, and it was just wasteful because they were just hitting the attack speed cap, and all the extra excess attack speed just got wasted. So I'd like to think of this video as, hey, I've been playing the game for a while now, and like this is my way of building a team better than what I did when I hadn't played the game for that long. So definitely like to think that I've learned a little bit. Okay, there's only 3 of us left in the lobby right now. There is a Spirit 6 player. Yeah, Spirit 6. They have a Spirit Chosen and an emblem. Their board is mostly Assassins, and that's actually the board I have here. And then there's a Cultist 9 player. You saw I narrowly beat that Cultist 9 player with Yasuo like a couple rounds ago. The Spirit player, though, I seem to do really well against because I just dash into their back line and kill everything instantly. And it looks like I just have no trouble killing this board, which is kind of funny. But, yep, we're going to get that. That's a Diana Chosen, and it looks like we don't have any trouble killing this unit. There we go. So I win that round very, very easily. And once again, Yasuo continuing to carry me. Trying to be patient here. I do want to get to level 9. I've actually been able to recover my economy because I'm on a 9-match winning streak here. So I did move my squishy units up to the front line when I was up against the Spirit player because they have Assassins. Now for this Cultist player, I'm going to go back to a more standard team setup here with like the Callista in the back, the Jax up front, and I think the Yuumi I put in the back lines as well. Remember, I need to keep Yone and Yasuo standing alone with nobody next to them so they get that Exile shield at the start of combat. Yone is also somewhat dependent on what he rolls on his Thief's Glove. But because there's 3 of us in the lobby, someone's getting a Ghost round every single round. All right, and it looks like, yeah, here I am up against the Cultist player. So the big threats on this team are the Galio itself, and then also the Callista. And oh, that Callista is on like 10% HP. All right, we did manage to finish her off. Now can we kill the Galio? They also have a 2-star Zillion, which is really scary. Zillion is such a strong unit, and it looks like I did not have enough to overcome that board that time. The Zillion was just reviving too many people. Now, the funny thing is, I think the Spirit player has actually been beating the Cultist player when they've come up against each other. Still, I wasn't too concerned about that because I know my board can get a lot stronger. There's also a Lee Sin here, so I will definitely take this just to get a Lee Sin. Again, he's the 5-cost duelist. But then that gets taken, so I was like, all right, you're going to deny me the Lee Sin. And by the way, that person has no use for Lee. They literally just took it to deny it to me. Maybe they wanted the Gnasher's Tooth, but I think they took it just to deny it to me. Still, I can get something good. I can get a Jeweled Gauntlet, and I can put that on Callista. It's a good Callista item. Now I'm level 9, so I can play another unit. There's 2-star Shen. I'll just try to see what else I can fit. I will put Kayle on the board for right now. She does make use of Divine Trait until I can find something, but there's another Yone. Okay, I actually went past another Kayle earlier. I could try to go for Callista 3-star, but I think it's too late for that. We're just going to keep rolling here. We really want Lee Sin. Still haven't managed to find him. And oh, that's the shop I want. There's a Lee. We'll put him on the board. And then there's Zillion, who's the other unit I want to play. So this is a pretty straightforward substitution. We're going to drop the Fiora. Although I probably should hold a copy of Fiora in case I would get an emblem, because then I could put her back in for 8 Duelist. Oh my god, Tryndamere just spun through the entire enemy backline and killed the whole thing. Oh my goodness. This is the Spirit player, and it's a Ghost round. So anyway, we're going to take out the Fiora, replace her with Lee Sin, and then we just add Zillion as our level 9 unit, because Zillion is broken. I mentioned this in the last video I did, but Zillion is averaging like a 3... Boards that have Zillion have like a 3.1 placement. And then look at that. The Spirit player actually beat the Cultist player, which was kind of surprising. All right, now I finally have time to do that substitution. So if you are out, again, I should have held her in case I got an emblem. Zillion in, and then we need to take this blue buff and take it off the Yuumi and put it on the Lee Sin. So we basically maintained 6 Duelists, and we added a rank of Mystic. So now we have Mystic 3. That's going to be very useful against both of these boards. And we're up against the Spirit board. So once again, tanks in the back row and squishy units up in the front to defend against this. Always kind of funny to do this, but that's how you have to play against these boards. All right, so they're actually, yeah, they're level 10. They're mostly magic damage, so the Mystic 3 is really helpful here. The Teemo, again, remember how Teemo blinded me at the beginning of the game? It's like, yeah, Yasuo, Quicksilver Sash. Teemo blind does absolutely nothing. I've talked about it repeatedly in this video. Most important item to have on the Yasuo. You have to have that Quicksilver Sash. And by the way, my Callista actually did the most damage in that fight. She did 6,000 damage. Over here, it looks like my Ghost is beating the Cultist board. Yeah, it looks like my Ghost is beating that board. Now that I'm starting to hit some of my 2-star 5 costs, I'm starting to get there. I guess I still need to hit a little bit more of them. So what is it? I have, what was it? I have a Yone pair. I have 1 Lee. I have 1 Zillion. I really would like to get more items that are good on either Lee Sin or Tryndamere here. The Yone has the Thief's Glove, so he doesn't need more items. And then, I mean, I guess Zilean I could put an item on, but I'm actually content if Zilean gets off one cast in these fights. Zilean's ability is Chrono Shift from default League of Legends. He will bring your units back to life if they die. Very, very powerful ability. I mentioned that boards that have him have like a 3.1 average placement, something ridiculous like that. All right, so we're going to roll. We're just trying to hit our 5 costs here at this point. All right, well, 2-star Yone, that is pretty big, even if the items he rolled were not great. There's another Zilean, and there's Zilean 2-star. Okay, well, I'll take that. And then there's another really good item here, Hand of Justice. I can put this on either of these. I decided I would put it on Tryndamere. The only thing Tryndamere was missing was lifesteal. So that's going to give him some lifesteal and make him a lot safer. And look at this. I'm apparently up against the Cultist player, but like, what happened with their board? Apparently they sold their whole board looking for Ornn 3-star, and they didn't really get that close. They only found 6 of them, and then they quit the lobby. So I actually asked them, I was like, what were you going for, 3-star Ornn? But they never answered me, and I think that they just quit the lobby shortly thereafter. So I was like, well, that was kind of disappointing. Oh, I actually could buy the Zilean. I could have unlocked my shop here. I guess I got the 1 gold from winning that round. Oops, I could have gotten 1 more shop refresh. Oh, well. But I did manage to get 2-star Zilean, so I've pretty much filled out my entire board. The only thing I'm missing is 2-star Lee Sin, and I have not lost to this Spirit board in ages, so I'm very confident that I'm going to win this round. But let's not take any risks. We'll put our tanks here in the back row to deal with their assassins that are going to jump. Put the Jax back there, move Shen up. We could move Aurelia up potentially, but like I've now hit, what is it, 2-star Yone, I've hit 2-star Zilean, I have full items on Tryndamere. I still have the Yasuo, who's incredibly strong, and now I have Lee Sin, whose ability is to kick people off the board. Yeah, I talked about this a little bit more in my last video, but Lee's ability is he kicks people off the board, which is frankly hilarious. We didn't really get to see it much in this game, but yeah, we just annihilate that board, and it's not even remotely close. So, a game that took a long time to come together. I felt as though I really got trolled on items in this game, and then it took a long time to find Yasuo. And then I just couldn't find, I couldn't get up to the 6 duelists. At first I couldn't get up to 4 duelists. Then I couldn't get up to 6 duelists. As you hear me knock something over on the floor there. Whoops. But when it all came together in the late game, it was pretty strong. And like I said, this was my attempt to build a better duelist board than I did like 5 years ago. So mission accomplished. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care, folks. I'll see you again soon.